Come get some. Welcome back to the Defending Football Show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just want to say right off the bat, we did change the intro song. We changed it to a DC Defenders chant, which sounds fantastic. And the show theme song has changed as well. But today we are looking at the UFL 2025 schedule for the DC Defenders. As you guys know, the DC Defenders went 4-6 last year, and they've added many new pieces to become a better team. I believe they can be better than last year, but we got to look at the schedule and break down what games are winnable. So obviously, because this is a DC Defenders channel, we're looking at the 10 games DC has to play this year. So let's start with week 1, and oh my, we got an interesting week 1. The Birmingham Stallions had to travel to Audi Field, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, March 30th. Man, this is going to be a tough game for DC to open the season. The good thing is it is in Audi Field to open the year, which could give us a slight advantage there. And the fact that the Stallions get Alex Magoo back is crazy. Is Magoo going to be 100% the MVP candidate he was? I don't know. Now, I could be a total homer and say the DC Defenders win this game. And going back to last year, we were pretty close to winning it. But for the sake of not being crucified, I believe the Birmingham Stallions do win this game. So DC is going to start 0-1 in the 2025 season. It's unfortunate, but it is a bad matchup to start the year. Don't worry about that though, because week 2, you're staying in Audi Field and the Showboats are coming to town. 8 p.m. game on ABC. Can the Defenders beat the Boats? 100% we could beat the Boats, baby. Look, the defense for the Memphis Showboats is going to be much improved than last year. This is not the same Showboats as the previous year. But the good news is we don't have to play them week 1, so we're not going to be surprised. We'll have a little tape on them, but week 2, they're still going to be gelling together. Offensively, they have Quentin Dormady and EJ Perry, who I love EJ Perry, but I think the Defenders can take him down. Either quarterback we can beat. I think the defense is going to have to carry us in this one, but I see a hard-nosed, running the football, ball control victory for the DC Defenders. You cannot start the season going 0-2 in a 10-game league. Things can spiral out of control very fast if you don't grab them. So we gotta get a win in at least one of these 2 games. And I think we do. We beat the Showboats in Audi Field. We are 1-1 going into week 3. And who do we play? We play the St. Louis Battlehawks. DC at this point 1-1, and they're trying to figure out which way they want to go in their season. They have to go into the Battle Dome in week 3. The dome is going to be packed, and DC is going to silence that crowd. As you saw from my quarterback ranking, Max Duggan is not a fantastic looking quarterback to me. I have to see more at this level. I know he has a huge amount of help around him, probably the best receiving core in the UFL. Because of that uncertainty, I can't give the Battlehawks the win. With AJ McCarron, it is a different story, but Max Duggan's going to be 3 weeks into a brand new system, and DC is going to want to punish St. Louis for what they did to him last year, trust me. I think the Battlehawks will be favored going into this, and the DC Defenders are going to take them down. Abram Smith is going to be the workhorse this year. We're going to run the ball, baby. We better run the ball. I think DC takes the dub in week 3 against the Battlehawks, and that's going to send the Battlehawks fans confused and scared of what's coming next. The Defenders figure it out, and they go 2-1. Going into week 4, the San Antonio Brahmas come back to Audi Field with Kellen Mond at the helm. Now, this is a very interesting game. This could go either way for me. The Brahmas beat us in week 1 last year, but that was a very, very weird game for DC. Gene Delance game, as we all know. Sorry, Gene, I don't mean to call you out, but honestly, his performance was so bad, it held back the Defenders to lose that game. If an offensive lineman takes 2 touchdowns off the board for you, that is a big problem. That game was way closer than it seemed, and we gave up a stupid special teams touchdown. That was one of the best plays of the year in the UFL, but come on, what are we doing? And this is an Audi Field where we beat them last year. I just got a hunch. The DC Defenders beat the San Antonio Brahmas. I think the main reason they win is because they're in DC and they're going to have the fans behind them. DC is going to be rolling at this point, 2 wins under their belt. They're going to be excited they beat the Battlehawks, and they're not going to let the Brahmas ruin that streak. Although I think the Brahmas are going to actually be better than they were last year. I think it's going to take some time for Kellen Mond to gel in that offense. I think we've learned about what the San Antonio Brahmas want to do on offense by now, and we could take that away. Week 5, we have the Arlington Renegades. But anytime you play in Arlington, you really kind of have a home game because they all live in Arlington. So I don't think this will affect much when it comes to home field advantage. I think Arlington has the worst home field advantage in the league. DC is going to be 3-1 going into week 5, looking good, looking like a playoff contender team. The Renegades do scare me though, as they just always have DC's number. Luis Perez dices up our defense. He's got Greg Williams' number for whatever reason. We beat the Renegades by 1 last year and we lost to them by 1. These games are going to be super exciting, must-see TV. With the help of Abram Smith, and Lynn Bowden is a massive weapon on this offense. I think the Renegades defense cannot outlast us. DC is going to be putting up points, and this could be a possible shootout game. And I think we just get the win. We're rolling right now. The problem is, in week 6, we're looking good. We're feeling good. We're 4-1. But we have to roll into Michigan, where Bryce Perkins is ready to take our soul. If Bryce Perkins plays as well as he did last year, consistently, he will be a possible MVP candidate. I am not kidding. So week 6 is going to be a very, very difficult game for DC. They just got purely dominated last year by them. But I think Michigan is too much to overcome. They have a lot of good weapons on the outside, but the coaching staff over there always has Michigan ready to go. But even then, I don't think DC is going to start 5-0 in the season. That is just an unrealistic expectation. So we're going to lose in week 6 to the Michigan Panthers. Week 7, we have to travel into the Alamo Dome. This is the second game in a row we are on the road, and we're feeling a little demoralized from last week. I feel like this team gets very up and down last year. I think this week is going to be a come-down game, and I'm not going to be happy about it. But I think the Brahmas at home, for whatever reason, every time we play in the Alamo Dome, it's a close game. I don't want to play there. I don't want to be there. And for whatever reason, I think Kellen Mond's clicking in week 7, and they're going to catch us slipping. And they're going to beat the DC Defenders, making us 4-3 going into week 8, where this game is pivotal. Week 8 against the Arlington Renegades, coming into DC this time. We should have the advantage. We should take the win. But Luis Perez, he knows our defense in and out. And I can see it happening right now. This 3-game slip. The DC Defenders lose to the Arlington Renegades, making us 4-4. Essentially making our season do or die at this point. I'm telling you, the Renegades are extremely underrated. Their defense is not fantastic, but their offense is so good, man. And for whatever reason, I think DC loses this game. But the downward spiral has to end sometime, and what a perfect time to play the Houston Roughnecks. Week 9, DC versus the Roughnecks in Houston. We don't care. The oil rig is out of oil. DC is firing on all cylinders in this game, and I think this is a potential blowout game. I know Anthony Brown is there, and I'm a big fan. But how I see this season going, week 9 for the Roughnecks is probably not going to mean much. So they're going to be trying to lay it out on the line, but DC has more to lose, and they're going to be playing harder. DC is fighting for their playoff spot at this point. You need to have a win. You can't go 4-5. And what do? The DC Defenders take the win, baby. I think this is one of the most locked games in the season. We got to beat the Roughnecks. If you can't beat the Roughnecks, what are you doing? No offense to the Roughnecks, but I just don't think they are a championship contender team. But I think DC takes the win here to get them back on track. So DC is 5-4. This could go one of two ways. If they lose in week 10, they're out of the playoffs. If they win, I think they make the playoffs. I think our division is going to be way tighter this year than it was. I think 6-4 is a potential division winning record. I think 6-4 is also going to be the wild card as well. I think the top 2 teams in the XFL division are going to be 6-4 going into the playoffs. So I think 6-4 is good enough to make the playoffs. And week 10, 8 p.m., Friday night football. The St. Louis Battlehawks travel to Audi Field at 8 p.m. Poor Max Duggan, poor Battlehawks. DC is going to be rocking at 8 p.m. I might go to this game. This is for DC's season, and I think this time it's different. I think the DC Defenders put it on the St. Louis Battlehawks. For whatever reason, they're clicking. They feel the energy. This game simultaneously knocks the St. Louis Battlehawks out of the playoffs. Battlehawks out, DC in. And it is going to be a fantastic game that you have to watch. So that is how our 10-game season ends. The DC Defenders go 6 wins, 4 losses, and a playoff berth. I know this is not the 9-1 season we had 2 years ago, but I think a 6-4 record in the UFL is good enough to get you in the playoffs this year, especially with the quarterback turnover in the XFL division. The Brahmas and the Battlehawks, the two playoff teams, have different quarterbacks. This could mean a few games slip here and there, costing their team a chance at the playoffs. I know I could seem like a homer here, but I really do think the DC Defenders have retooled and they're going to look a lot better this year. Now, I still think the Brahmas win the division at 6-4, but I think the Defenders get in and get to play the San Antonio Brahmas in the playoffs. And hey, that's one game, anything can happen. So let me know down below what you think the record for the DC Defenders are. I'll probably make a video talking about what I think is going to happen every single week for every single team, and then see what happens at the end of the year. It'll probably be a fast-paced, quick shoot video. I might be an idiot. We'll find out. If you guys do love spring football, please like the video and share this everywhere. And for the love of football, defend football, baby!